Hey everyone, nice to see you. Really nice to be around here. Nice and welcome to Mimikyu Official. I have seen so many videos out here in the YouTube universe that are talking about their Pokemon teams, evil Pokemon teams that people have made. For those of you who are noobs out there, sorry to use the old slang, evil Pokemon teams have been there in the Pokemon universe forever. There's Team Rocket with some of the Pokemon games and with the anime. There's Team Magma, Team Plasma, and the list goes on. For your information, the Ether Foundation wasn't an evil team, just saying. Now, I thought of doing this when I saw ManJTV's video, link in the description to his channel. Anyway, so let's just talk about mine. My evil team is mostly centered around my favorite type. I'll let you guess for a second. It's ghost types. Ghost is my personal favorite, and I don't know why, honestly. I just really like the type, and it's really cool in my opinion. The Pokemon are really interesting, and my personal favorite Pokemon falls in that category. Can anyone guess? Yeah, no, whatever. My personal favorite Pokemon is Mimikyu. Yeah, it's kind of creepy in the to some, and the part it plays in the ghost type trial. Yeah, the ghost type trial was kind of creepy, if you ask me. Don't ask. Please don't yell at me in the comments that it wasn't creepy. This is my opinion. So let's talk about my evil team. Team Afterlife. Yes, I know, ghost types, Team Afterlife, yeah, whatever. Team Afterlife is hugely based on ghost types, and they are huge on making ghost stories. Their team leader is Hana, a tall woman who looks like she virtually stepped out of a horror movie. Her outfit is mostly black, silver, and of course, red. Her green eyes just stand out against the outfit, along with her black flipped-out bob cut, and literally every Pokemon trainer ever, she has that one Pokemon that means the world to her. Her Mimikyu. Duh, of course. Team Afterlife is literally found everywhere in the Pokemon world. And they've been there for a really long time. Let me just mention that. Hana isn't exactly young. You know, like Lizamine, who's 40. Now, they aren't even known as a real Pokemon team, really. Nobody really knows them other than as a ghost story. Yep, that's right, you heard that right. They are dismissed as an old wives' tale, and if they're seen, thought of as such. They're literally a ghost story, causing virtually all of the ghost stories in the Pokemon world. From Stairways to Nowhere with Ghastlies, or Ghost Classrooms with Hypnos. Yes, I'm sort of basing this off of those 7 mysteries you had to solve in Pokemon Ultra Moon. For those of you who haven't played the game, pretend you haven't, I did say that. They want to, almost failed into 25% of the video. Now, anyway, they mostly work with ghost type Pokemon, and every now and then dark types. Now, let's just talk a little bit more about this, and let's talk about how this video is going to be centered. It's going to be sort of a fan fiction, if you will, so don't rag on me in the comments here. And I'm just going to set this up as how it would appear as you being a player in the game. So you start out the game having recently turned 11 after moving from Unova last year, and you're about ready to go on your island challenge. You get your starter Pokemon, and on your way to get your Z-Power Ring, you meet a friend of yours who jokingly warns you to, well, get back before dark, or Team Afterlife might get you. Your mom scolds your friend, telling her not to scare you with ghost stories and superstition. You ask her what Team Afterlife is, and your friend laughs, asking what rock you've been living under. He explains that Team Afterlife is the cause of anything that's been a ghost story. Your mom scoffs and dismisses the revelation as preposterous. You head to get your Z-Power Ring and are met by a girl named Maylee, who is surrounded by Rampardos. You defeat the Rampardos, and Maylee thanks you, being interrupted by the Island Guardian, dropping in and giving you the stone you need to make a Z-Power Ring. Yeah, I'm sort of basing this off of Ultra Moon, because that's the first game I ever played. with the Pokemon games. Other than the card games, I doubt that works. I doubt that counts. But anyway, Melee, of course, thanks you again. And you head on your journey every now and then meeting people. After you get your Z-Power ring, giving the stone to the Kahuna, you head on your journey every now and then meeting people you don't know are Team Afterlife grunts, who often are battling someone with their ominous ghost-type Pokemon. Anyway, so at a convention Melee invites you to, which I haven't decided what the convention is or why Melee invited you there, but she decides to travel with you. And you meet some Team Afterlife grunts who'll pull you aside when you see them putting together another ghost story to drive people out of the convention center to use as another base. They battle you with their Pokemon to silence you. Introducing themselves as Team Afterlife, they battle you with ghost types who are actually decent for once, such as Frostlass. What I mean by that is grunts don't really have decent Pokemon and you can whip them down in 2 or 3 hits. You, of course, mop the floor with them, because you might have gotten 1 or 2 Z crystals by this time, and your Pokemon are fairly strong at this point. Strong enough to take on perhaps the Melee City Gym, and a couple of people in the Melee City Gym at this point. And one of the grunts freaks out once you defeat them, wondering if you'll tell. The other grunt consoles them and says that they're not going to believe that a ghost story is trying to drive everyone out of the convention center. Melee finds you in this closet that they've dragged you into, and when you try to tell her that Team Afterlife is real, she, of course, doesn't believe you. She takes you to a hospital to get checked out, thinking you've been hit with a confuse ray or something, knowing you'd never lie. You explain what happened to the nurse, who diagnoses you fine. He takes you to the police station to get you a lie detector test because he knows there's nothing wrong with you. Positive the test will fail, he even pays a police officer to give you the test for good measure. You tell the story with the officer and the nurse in the room, and both are baffled when you pass the test. You tell the story. You ask them to tell everyone the truth, that Team Afterlife is real. And they're not exactly going with good intentions. The nurse declines, saying everyone will think he's insane. The officer doesn't believe you at all and even is about to arrest you for sabotage of a government device. Another officer sticks her head in and stops the officer from arresting you. And the first officer and nurse reveal themselves as Team Afterlife grunts, scolding you for interfering. You take them on in battle, defeating them, of course, with the help of the new officer. Melee comes in after the battle, seeing what happened. The Team Afterlife grunts escape, but the officer who stopped you from being arrested is freaking out alongside Melee. The grunts escape, but the officer who helped you and stopped you from being arrested takes sides with you after... Alright, sorry, never mind. You plead with the officer to help everyone tell the truth and get Team Afterlife to disband. Melee sides with you, adding to the argument, saying the truth, that they're literal terrorists, spreading fear. With the ghost stories and everything. The officer agrees to help and tells you there's a radio station on Pony Island that could broadcast the message to anything with a screen in the region. You travel to Pony Island, battling Team Afterlife grunts all over the place. You make it to the radio tower, meeting a whole chunk of Team Afterlife grunts, who learned you were going and took over the radio tower. You battle them, defeat them, and are let past. You have to make it to the top of the radio tower so you can get the message broadcasted. After battling virtually half of the part of Team Afterlife that is in Alola and find an empty room where there should have been radio tower equipment. Instead, you find a desk piled with papers and books. You find out part of their plan, a way to take over the whole Pokemon world and to literally not make Team Afterlife, but their leader, immortal. Yeah, I know, cliche villains. Hina enters the room, congratulating you for making it that far. Her extra-large Mimikyu, the former totem Pokemon of the Ghost Trial, now replaced by another totem Mimikyu, is beside her, and Hina commands her Hypno to remove the illusion. You see the radio equipment, but you see enough bombs strapped to the equipment to make a crater the size of Lavender Town. She explains the rest of her plan, telling you there is a legendary Ghost-type Pokemon that can fulfill their plan. I have not thought of what that Pokemon's name is, but for the sake of my sanity, and probably yours, let's call it yet-to-be-named Pokemon. Yet-to-be-named Pokemon has the power to grant immortality if fed with enough fear. It feeds off of that fear, and it takes a whole lot of energy to grant immortality. Because life is granted from energy in this universe, apparently. And to have enough energy to build on that for eternity, for your body to build off of that, you're going to need a whole chunk of that. And this legendary Pokemon needs a lot of power. So she explains that, and the team and the grunts and all of Team Afterlife have been feeding it for years while simultaneously setting the stage for them to take over the world. Fear always works. In her words, fear always works. Mayor Bellwether said in Zootopia. For those of you who haven't seen that movie, sorry for the reference. Fear would allow them to take over that area, and with them able to take over Alola, they could take over the entire Pokemon world. And she explains that she's seen your plan to reveal Team Afterlife's existence. And she has decided to both create fear and destroy your ability to tell everyone about Team Afterlife. Hana hits the switch to begin the countdown and is about to escape and leave you to explode with the city. You try to stop her, and so Hana takes you on in battle, not using her Mimikyu, but using Pokemon like Drifblim that have the ability Aftermath, or using player insanity-inducing attacks like Leech Life, Giga Drain, Moonlight, and of course Z-Power moves. After defeating Hana, she lets you stop the countdown, but flies away on a Charizard. Charizard. You tear off the bombs and the officer runs in. Being a bomb squad expert, she dismantles the bombs and has her Wigglytuff teleport them into the lava volcano. Yeah, I wasn't thinking that through. You broadcast the message, and soon everyone knows about Team Afterlife. You have the word of this officer, and literally a whole chunk of officers that this officer brought with them. You rest easy, continuing on your island challenge. A few days later, you are taken by police officers who drive you up to a building, which is the government building. I don't know what the government is in the Pokemon universe. I'll just call them governors. The leader of this area, a governor. It has been taken over by Team Afterlife, and Alola is under the control of Team Afterlife. You're dropped off in a prison guarded by a Team Afterlife grunt. You defeat them and battle your way to Hana's new office. Hana takes you on in battle using her Mega Mimikyu. It's a tongue teaser. I don't know if this exists, but it's a fan team, so it doesn't have to exist. And multiple Ghost-type Pokemon, again using Drain attacks and Health Restoring attacks. Let's say Hana is very painful to battle. You defeat Hana, and she is furious. She hits a button, and yet-to-be-named Pokemon is summoned. Hana leaves the Pokemon to defeat you, and you defeat or catch it. Hana is frantic, seeing the ticket to taking over the world defeated. You invite her to try and become better and to help Pokemon instead of spreading fear. She rejects this idea and turns to leave. The officer has brought the entire police force, and they've arrested all the grunts. The governor takes away Hana, who is pulled away kicking, screaming, and swearing revenge. The governor sends messages to the other regions telling them to take down Team Afterlife. Team Afterlife is officially taken down in Alola, and for the rest of the game, you finish your island challenge and try to complete the dex. That's a huge part of that, and I'm thinking in this context that it's the biggest part of the story. Let me know if you have any ideas for yet-to-be-named Pokemon here. And that is Team Afterlife. I thought it was interesting, and if there's any ideas that you have to improve it or change up the story, please let me know in the comments. See you later, and see you until next time. Mimikyu Official, and I'm out.